cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. Make your holidays bigger and brighter with PrizePicks, the best place to get real money action while watching your favorite sports. You can now win up to 200 times your money on PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the best way to get action on sports in more than 30 states and is the best place to get real money sports action. Join now because this holiday season, PrizePicks is giving away 2 free picks in December, and they're giving away $30+ million in rewards during Picksmas. Download the app today. Use code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's right. Download the app today. Use code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. Run your game.
For your fellow fanatics and your #1 fans, for your game day compatriots and your personal cheerleaders, for all the reasons you smile, get covered with dental and vision insurance from Delta Dental of Wisconsin and Delta Vision. Support your overall health so you can be your best for those who matter to you most. Call Eric Pearson. Eric Pearson, Saganiac Planning, 262-783-6161. Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service. The Saganiac Planning Marquette Records. Marquette's best scorer ever? It doesn't matter who has the most career points. Most points in a game, Marcus Howard, 53. Marcus Howard, 52. Marcus Howard, 51. And Marcus Howard with 45 twice. Yep, top 5 games ever, all by Marcus Howard. A good question. Who scored the most points for Marquette? Not named Marcus Howard. Tony Smith and Mike Moran at 44. Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service.
Give the gift of a special night out from the Bartolotta Restaurants. Purchase a gift card at bartolottas.com and get a $20 holiday bonus for every $100 you spend. Happy holidays from all of us at the Bartolotta Restaurants, and thank you, Milwaukee.
Ho, 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 ho.
Year-end savings are here at Land Rover Waukesha. Unwrap a truly unique luxury SUV this holiday season. The new Range Rover Velar provides power, performance, sporting luxury, and all the latest technology. Get 3.9% special APR financing for up to 72 months only on a new 2025 Range Rover Velar at Land Rover Waukesha. 3.9% APR for 72 months. A deal so nice, even Santa will want in. Get your mittens on the most luxurious ride this holiday season. LandRoverWaukesha.com.
Westbound 94 got some backups from about 25th Street all the way through to Mitchell Boulevard. Back on the brakes, heading into the Moreland Road area. There was an accident there. They were able to clear that one out of the way. We've got an accident on southbound 43. Actually, it's a broken down vehicle right in the Marquette. Center lane is blocked, so watch out for the backups heading through there. On southbound 4394, we've got more delays from about National Avenue all the way down towards the KK River crossing. Traffic is brought to you by the Bartolotta Restaurants, providing memorable experiences for over 30 years. Get the perfect holiday gift this season. A Bartolotta's gift card. Purchase yours at bartolottas.com. And check the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, clear and cold, a low of 6 above with the wind chill of 0 to 5 below. Tomorrow, mostly to partly sunny, a high of 27. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Hey, this is Brad Nortman from KBN. Tune into Kyle Preston Nortman from 2 to 5 every day. WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Showtime. The right way to start your day. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Of course he's a Yankee fan with that hat cocked to the side. All right. Have we noticed in this still image, there's a guy on the left wearing a sliding glove?
Yes.
An Evo Shield sliding glove.
So what do you think?
What is that?
I painted my face.
You painted your face?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, you know, support the team.
Like that's the same thing as like wearing receiver gloves to an NFL game, right?
It's worse. Worse, way worse. Receiver gloves, you might get to play catch with JJ Watt. Like you might.
Well, you can't walk around like that.
Well, why not?
Because it's insane.
Oh, hey, you gotta let them know you're out there. This is the playoffs.
He's wearing a sliding glove?
Yeah, the sliding mitt.
Yeah,
like
I know.
Yeah,
It's
and
just
I believe it's like turquoise. That guy who's wearing that is also wearing sunglasses to a night.
Dave's painted his face.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. Well, you got to support your team, huh?
Okay, ready to go?
Yeah.
Let's get it on!
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Chamara. Here's Jen Lattis.
Hey, could you actually reread that part at the bottom for me?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Here's Alex Strofe and Josh DiMaggio.
Wow! Yeah, it is a Dune Friday ahead of Packers Seahawks. Jen, Gabe, and Chewy with you, 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee. That's Joshy DiMaggio. I'm Alex Strofe, and it's a big day at ESPN Milwaukee, Joshy. Mm-hmm. Today is a big day because you heard a new voice there in the open. We've formerly called him Intern Will, but today is a big day for the man formerly known as Intern Will. He is no longer Intern Will.
No.
He is now Producer Will. He is Joshy's protege Will. He is the young prodigy. Will Summers is producing the show. I think I can talk to him, right? Like, those rules are gone now.
So I thought about this, and there used to be pretty strict rules. I think the two people who would have a say on this trust us to not lead them astray.
Hold on a minute. I think they trust you. I think right now they are listening and going, uh-oh, what's about to happen? What the hell is Strofe about to do on a Friday morning? It's only 7:03. Yeah. It's way too early for this.
Being good teammates, I think we need to put brand new Will, who has been great as an intern, now part-time here, helping out all of us. Put him in good spots. That's what we need to do today. We don't need to ask a ton of him, but he's pretty good at his job already for someone as young as he is. So, I mean, that was a great open we saw there.
Did you know that was coming?
No idea. He told me he had an open, and I was like, oh, cool, right on. And then next thing I know, I hear a record scratch, and I thought he just started. I thought he was the first voice we heard there. I didn't realize that was part of the open. And I said, wow, he's taking the bull by the horns here. But great job with that, Will.
Will Summers. Good morning.
Good morning, Alex Strofe.
How are you?
Doing great. I'm happy to be here. Of course, my first day as not an intern is with you two idiots.
Whoa!
Okay, not idiots.
Wow!
Sorry.
Gets the job, says, all right, I'm coming out swinging.
I'm having a power trip.
Yeah, you are. I mean, but that's okay. That's okay. Well, good to have you part of the team. Well, thanks for being here this morning. Joshy and I with you until 9 o'clock today. Lots of preview to get into. Packers, Seahawks, Sunday Night Football. If you've been with us this week, you know I'm feeling a little nervous about that. Joshy at some point is going to try to convince me not to be nervous, which I don't know how he's feeling. We'll get to that a bit later.
It's presumptive.
I know you're feeling good about Love. I know you're feeling good about the defense. We'll get to all that in the 8 o'clock hour. Jason Wilde will join us in about 10 minutes. We'll hear from our CEO, founder, and host of Sunday Karma, Craig Karmazin, at 7:30 this morning. But man, oh man, boy, does a lot change in 7 months, huh? I mean, 7 months ago, I was living in Madison. Here I am in Milwaukee waking up with you. 7 months ago, you didn't have to start your car 15 minutes early before you go anywhere. 7 months ago? Was Josh Jacobs even a Packer yet? Yeah, he was, but barely. We hadn't seen him in a game yet.
What exactly was 7 months ago?
7 months ago, the Bucs, I think, were still in the playoffs. 7 months ago was May 20th, 2024, specifically what I'm regarding here. 7 months ago, on Twitter X, the former Packers linebacker, and now / maybe current 49ers linebacker, and certainly not for long.
I don't think he's going to make it through the day.
DeAndre Campbell tweets this on May 20th. I can't even lie. I'm having so much fun playing football again. The situation I was in was making me lose my love for the game. But I'm back having fun again. And I love that for myself. Yeah, I love that for you too, DeAndre Campbell. Except, I don't know how much I love that for you. Last night, it's Niners-Rams. Disgusting football game. The weather's gross. 12-6 final score. In the third quarter, I wish I was joking. I can't believe what I'm about to read. In the third quarter, DeAndre Campbell says, no, I'm good. I'm done.
Yeah, there's important context you need to add to that. Drake Greenlaw, who we all saw blow out his Achilles in the Super Bowl, in one of the more devastating injuries, not from Kevin Ware gross, but a guy getting ready to go on the field and pops his Achilles in the biggest game of his entire life. He has returned from said injury and was unable to compete the entirety of the game. So usually it's Fred Warner next to Dre Greenlaw. Dre Greenlaw has not played since the Super Bowl. Dre Greenlaw was unable to continue, so they looked over at the guy who had been starting all year and said, hey, the team needs you here. He said, I'd rather not.
I think I'm good.
Yeah, actually, even though Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw are both all-pro or all-pro adjacent players who have earned their right to be on this team, I feel like I was slighted by losing my starting spot, so I'm not going back in there.
Yeah, so let's keep this in mind about the San Francisco 49ers, who by all means have been the most beat-up team in the National Football League this year. You know who played for them last night? A guy that got shot in the last 7 months. Ricky Pearsall, their first-round pick. He played last night.
Sure did.
DeAndre Campbell, who is having so much fun again.
Fred Warner is playing with a broken ankle, a broken bone in his ankle.
Yes.
There's guys out there who've gone through a lot to be on the field for their team.
And there's more things that I won't touch, but that people on that team have gone through in the last year.
Devastating life events.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
Who aren't complaining about being multimillionaires who get to play a game for a living. I want to hear from the head coach because everybody kind of saw DeAndre Campbell didn't play. He went back to the locker room in the third quarter. Everybody was kind of going, what's going on here? Obviously, Matt LaFleur's friend, well, at least at one point, and mentor, Kyle Shanahan, the head coach of the San Francisco 49ers, gives us some insight on what the heck happened to DeAndre Campbell.
What happened with DeAndre Campbell? He didn't play and he went into the locker room at some point?
Yeah, he said he didn't want to play today.
Play today?
Yep.
The coaching staff?
He did when I asked him why he didn't want to go in. So.
During the game or before?
No, that was in the third quarter.
So, a couple things to this. The thing that actually gets me more so than the fact he just didn't want to play is the fact he waited until the third quarter.
Yeah.
Like if I'm having the sniffles one day, Joshy, I'm typically not a guy, and you've given me a hard time for this, but I'm typically not a guy who's going to power through.
Yeah.
I'm not coming into work. I'm going, hey, I got the sniffles. I need to sleep a couple more hours. I'm going back to sleep.
Which is mostly the right way to do with the world we're in 2024. I think if you're not feeling well, stay home. I think that's good advice we should all probably live by more, even though we don't want to let our teammates down.
Right.
Now, it's not the same as NFL teammates, but if you watch DeAndre Campbell walking off the field with a towel over his head, you notice something about his jersey, and it was completely clean. And it was completely clean because at that point, he hadn't gotten the opportunity to go into the game because the two linebackers they want on the field were on the field. And if you look at all of the stats about DeAndre Campbell, he's been one of the worst starting middle linebackers in all the NFL. He was towards the end of his career with the Packers as well. So this is not new, but he lost his starting spot to a guy who was competing for all pros.
Yep.
And then when time came in for him to help out his teammates, when Dre Greenlaw wasn't able to go, he said no. And he didn't tell anyone he didn't plan to do that. I don't know if he was told something pregame where we're going to be rotating you in more and he felt slighted by that. Obviously, we don't have Devondre's side of this. Frankly, I'm not all that interested in Devondre's side of this. We've heard Devondre's side throughout his Packers tenure when he was done with the Packers.
Oh, how many days this offseason did we spend reading tweets from DeAndre Campbell saying, hey, the only reason I was good one year was because I didn't listen to anybody?
Yes. He also said things like, I found my love for football again in San Francisco. I mean, he was singing the praises. But the key fact here is he was needed in San Francisco and wanted. And that is what he wants. He wants it to be about him. And when it wasn't about him and it was about Dre Greenlaw, the presumptive all-pro level player, things changed for him. And you saw this stuff bubbling up in Green Bay. There was times where people were kind of, is he missing games because he doesn't want to be out there? Or is he missing games because he's actually injured? And no one's ever going to call these NFL athletes who endure physical pain amongst the highest level we can imagine. Many of us would not last a single snap in the NFL.
No, but I would also never claim that.
Correct.
And also, I wouldn't wait until the third quarter to say that.
Right. And once you're in the arena and you're there, your teammates need you. This was a team who was fighting for their playoff life to stay alive, and he chose himself and his personal gripes, which he chose in Green Bay as well. And if I were to guess, and we're not going to find out this stuff from, especially now in the post DeAndre Campbell era. If I were to guess, there were a lot more things that the Packers were just simply better at keeping under wraps. I don't know if he ever fully said, I'm not going into a game well suited for a game. But I would imagine the training staff and the coaching staff all have things to say that would lead you to believe this behavior we saw yesterday has shown throughout his career since. Now, this is a practice squad guy who kind of bounced around the league. He was a great story, became an All-Pro in Green Bay himself. And then whatever happened in that time from getting paid to now, there's clearly a selfish player there and clearly a person who is battling things that aren't simply on the football field.
Yeah. And you know what? It is what it is.
He's his own worst enemy, it seems like.
Oh, 100%. And, you know, it really dates back to March. I mentioned the Twitter tirade he went on in March on Joe Barry and in the end of his time in Green Bay, talking about how, you know, he went first team All-Pro a couple of years ago, and that was because he didn't listen to any of the coaching, right? Like, that was literally what he put out on the internet, was saying, hey, the only reason I was an All-Pro was me, which maybe it's partially true. I don't know. Congratulations on your first team All-Pro. Joshy, you know the name Vontae Davis. Why do you know the name Vontae Davis?
He once retired in the middle of a game. I believe he was a Bill at the time.
You are correct.
He also on Hard Knocks had that devastating when he got traded. Yeah. And he said, I got to call my grandma. Yes. But then things turned out for Vontae Davis quite well after that. Yeah. But he's memorable for literally deciding at halftime, you know what? Not for me no more.
He's the answer to a trivia question. Yeah. And guess what DeAndre Campbell is now? It's not, hey, who was the first team All-Pro linebacker that one year in Green Bay? No, who was the dude who quit on his team in the third quarter of a Thursday night football game, a divisional game, a meaningful divisional game in the 2024 season? DeAndre Campbell ain't a first team All-Pro anymore. He's just the answer to a trivia question about who quit.
Yeah, and we also have, Will, can you fire up the George Kittle sound we have here?
Oh, this is fun.
The way his teammates and coaches are talking about him leads you to believe that this was bubbling for a while and isn't a one-off thing. Because remember, Romeo Doubs had the uncharacteristic missing work completely, and even though his coaches and teammates were unhappy with him, they were a lot softer about it, and they were a lot more sympathetic. They were saying, hey, people make mistakes, but this isn't the guy we know. And then you hear this from George Kittle.
Does that create dissension or disbelief or just disconnection on the sideline?
Not disbelief or disconnection like as a team. That is one person who just decided not to, play for his teammates. And I don't think that doesn't make our offense look at each other and be like, wow, man, we're falling apart. It's more of or like the defense, hey, we're falling apart. It's more of one person making like Mooney said, a selfish decision, and I'm with Mooney on that. And I've never been around anybody that's ever done that, and I hope I'm never around anybody that does that again.
That's George Kittle, the Madison-born wild tight end for the San Francisco 49ers. Mooney, he's referencing Charvarius Ward, one of their star cornerbacks, who he had the best quote of the night when he just said, yeah, I bet he gets cut soon.
Yeah. He called it sucker bleep as well.
Yeah.
Basically saying, hey, you left us out there, because those guys go to battle every week. They all have injuries. They all have personal life issues, and they all put that aside to be the best for their teammates. And the results aren't always what they want, obviously. A lot of times, many players don't get ever to Super Bowls. Some of them barely make the playoffs throughout their career. Hell, Joe Thomas played how many consecutive snaps with an amount of quarterbacks?
1 billion, yeah.
And they're getting paid well, and that's always what's undergirding this. But if Joe Thomas said, hey, my back hurts, nobody would have said, well, Joe Thomas, what the hell's going on? But he's suited up every single week. And DeAndre Campbell was asked, in a do-or-die situation for this Niners team, and I don't know if they're officially eliminated because that division is so kind of clumped together there, but this was, hey, this is a great way to finally try and get something going here, and maybe in the back half of the season, back quarter, we can get something going. And he just chose, nope, not going to do it. And I'm making connections here because this is how I operate. the poison that has been in the locker room for the Packers at the end of the Aaron Rodgers era, I think has finally now been fully exercised. I think David Bakhtiari was an issue there. Obviously, DeAndre Campbell was one of them. I'm not going to say anything negative about Preston Smith. I don't know that. It seemed like everyone pretty much liked him.
Yeah.
But there were guys, namely Aaron Rodgers as well, who changed the attitude around there that I think affected a lot of those players in significantly negative ways. And Goody's done all he can. Jair's probably the last maybe malcontent remaining. And this might be his last season with the Packers, but there's been an exercising of we want leaders, we want captains, and we want people who are going to stick up for their team.
You know, we got a text a bit earlier when we introduced our newest producer, the newest member of our team here at ESPN Milwaukee, Will Summers. Chef Ed chimed in, where there's a will, there's a way. Now, why I bring that text up is because Joshy, you know what you just did there.
Yeah.
Where there is a will, there's a way. Joshy somehow found a way to make a story about DeAndre Campbell, a player for the San Francisco 49ers, who, by the way, is in California, about the quarterback of the New York Jets on the East Coast.
You got it.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Prove me wrong. What did I say that was incorrect?
I can't tell you anything you said was factually incorrect.
Yeah.
I think it might be a little far stretched. But hey, I respect the hustle and I respect the knock. Yeah, that's what you do. All right. Want to hear your thoughts on DeAndre Campbell? See a bunch rolling in on the text line. Justin says, the only time I ever defended Joe Barry was against DeAndre Campbell. I feel very vindicated about that this morning. Hope he enjoyed his last game in the NFL. Ryan and McGuanago just simply text in on the text line, 800-990-3776. Antonio Brown, who did the same thing. A little bit more flashy. He took off his jersey and everything when he left that game. It would have been
a lot cooler if he did the whole dance in the end zone as he refused to play.
I don't think DeAndre Campbell's wearing that.
No, it would have been great, though. It would have added to the story.
Yeah. I actually may have found a way to defend him if he did that. So I'm very glad he didn't do that. Because today I could just call him DeCloundre Campbell and feel good about that. Josh DiMaggio, Alex Strofe, Will Summers hanging out with you on a Friday morning. We'll talk some Packers Seahawks coming up next as the three-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year and co-host of Wilde and Tausch. Jason Wilde joins us on the other side this morning on ESPN Milwaukee.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
We do have an accident to start things off. This is on 894 southbound. Right lane's blocked right at Oklahoma Avenue, so watch out for the delays into that area. We got southbound 4394, car off the roadway right at the ramp from Howard Avenue. It's off into the ditch, so it's something to keep in mind if you're heading through there. Other than that, our travel times are looking pretty good. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Today, increasing clouds, not as cold, a high of 28. Tonight, rising temperatures, mostly cloudy with a low of 28. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga, 94.5 ESPN.
'Tis the season for celebrating at St. Kate the Arts Hotel. Join them this holiday season for special events to get you in the festive mood. From a spectacular brunch with Santa to the holiday marketplace to one-of-a-kind dinner and a show experiences, St. Kate has a celebration happening nearly every week through the holiday season. Make a night of it and extend the experience by booking an overnight stay at St. Kate. Special packages are now available. Celebrate the holidays with St. Kate. Learn more by visiting stkatearts.com/holidays.
Monica, what delightful surprise do you have for us this Christmas?
I've been waiting all day for your big reveal. Take a look and tell me what you see. Oh, that's gorgeous.
I see the North Star, that guiding light that always lets you know where you are.
The North Star is important to you?
Sitting directly above the axis of the Earth, it's the only star in the sky that never moves. It's always there for you.
Sarah? I see the star that stood high over Bethlehem 2,000 years ago. Starlight, star bright, first star I see tonight. I wish I may, I wish I might.
Monica, it's fabulous.
Nicole Lasker designed it. I love her.
What's it called?
The Star of Hope. We have them in sterling silver with 4 diamonds for just $198. And in white gold with bigger and bigger diamonds at prices up to $19.98.
I love it.
I love it even more than Rick does. The Star of Hope.
For the location of the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
This time of year can be really tough on a number of areas in your home. If you're struggling with any electrical issues, the superheroes at Current Electric are ready to help you. Chuck Smith is a Brookfield Central grad who started Current Electric over 40 years ago. His mission was to serve our community with integrity and quality. Whether it's as small as a switch repair or as large as rewiring your entire home, to a generator to keep your lights on, or even interest in solar energy, call on the superheroes from Current Electric. Go to callcurrent.com. That's callcurrent.com.
Hey, it's Jason Wilde, and I have the perfect gift idea for you. A custom holiday gift box filled with all your Kringle favorites from Racine Danish Kringles. There's no wrapping needed, and this season you can try their newest holiday pastry, Eggnog Kringle, created to bring festive cheer to your celebration. Filled with rich, creamy eggnog and topped with sweet icing and a sprinkle of cinnamon, it's perfect for sharing with loved ones. Go to Kringle.com to order or call 800-4DANISH. Racine Danish Kringles, it's not just a treat, it's a tradition.
It's time for the Milwaukee Basketball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Experience elite orthopedic care at OAW. Their skilled teams in Pewaukee, Brookfield, and Mukwonago offer tailored treatment for your needs.
The Bucks are moving on to the Emirates NBA Cup semifinals after a 114-109 victory over the Orlando Magic at Fiserv Forum. Giannis led the way with the game-high 37 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 blocks.
Rebound Giannis, looking for the lead. Giannis galloping all the way to the hoop, and with the left hand, he throws it home. A big slam dunk on the move by the big man.
Damian Lillard chipped in 28 points while Bobby Portis netted a double-double, 22 and 10 off the bench. The 13 and 11 Bucks now head to Las Vegas for a second straight year where they play the winner of Wednesday's Knicks and Hawks quarterfinal matchup on Saturday.
This has been the Milwaukee Basketball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Book your appointment today at orthowisconsin.com.
Ready, down, put.
All Packers, all the time.
He was a field tilting player, and the reason why Gabe and many others are so concerned is that this guy's on the field, he changes the offensive dynamic. They are a different offense when he is there.
Okay, most of the time.
You know, Homer calls Matt LaFleur soft all the time. Matt LaFleur is like Vince Lombardi compared to me.
It's Jason Wilde on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Inmates running the asylum this morning on a Dude Friday. Alex Strofe, Joshie DiMaggio, Will Summers with you this Friday morning on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. I'm excited to be joined now by the 3-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year. He is the co-host of Wilde and Tausch. He is the co-host of the wildly popular weekly Wilde program on the ESPN Milwaukee YouTube page. He's the co-host of Green Bay Game Day, Green Bay Game Night. What doesn't he do? Jason Wilde joins us now on a Friday morning. And Jason, I'm just going to give you the floor on DeAndre Campbell last night, leaving San Francisco on the sidelines in the third quarter, said, yeah, I just don't want to play tonight after he needed to go in when Dre Greenlaw couldn't go anymore. What do you make of this situation as DeAndre Campbell, I would assume, has likely played his final NFL game?
Yeah, very surprising. I would have never expected it from such a fantastic teammate and one of my favorite people I've ever covered.
Yeah, no sarcasm in that voice at all this morning.
Unbelievable. Like, come on, man. Like, this is a guy who, during my time covering him, never made a mistake. Ever. It was always somebody else's fault, or he wasn't used correctly, or, he had that one lightning in a bottle year where he had a first team all-pro season. But I would love to hear people's stories about what he was like as a teammate. Truly, now that he's gone and after this happened, I'm going to ask a few of the guys today, just for my own edification, what he was like as a teammate and what they thought of what happened last night. I'm gonna make it very clear. I'm not gonna write anything about this. I'm not gonna quote you anywhere. I just want to know and see what they say. Like, is he not the antithesis of everything you want in a teammate? Like, what a pouty. Just be a pro, man. What the? How can I saw that last night? And I thought, how is this even possible in a professional league. Like, and imagine, I saw Ward was critical of him. I saw Kittle was critical of him. And I don't think it matters. I don't think he cares. I don't think an apology is coming. That's for sure.
Do you think the Packers retroactively, some of the coaching staff, deserve a little credit for it not boiling over? Now, obviously, he didn't really lose a ton of playing time, which might have been the big thing that happened here. But obviously, he was an issue, and people like you and Rob and all the beat kind of intimated there was stuff going on behind the scenes we weren't fully aware of. But this didn't boil over really until he was no longer a Green Bay Packer, and now we see what happens in an actual game with the Niners.
Yeah, I mean, look, he always would. What was weird about him was that after the 1 year where he was so good, and then he got the 5-year, $50 million contract. Like, all he kept saying was how. I remember he had Joe Barry for his defensive coordinator all those years, but all he would say was that. All in his previous stops, he hadn't been put in a position to succeed. He could have been doing this all along, and how appreciative he was that the Packers did that for him. And then on his way, as you know, on his way out the door, all he could talk about was how the Packers misused him. I mean, it doesn't even compute. So, yeah, again, I'd really like to know how guys viewed him as a teammate, but, he's one of those weird acquisitions that Goody deserves a ton of credit for getting a player, on basically a minimum deal in June of 2021 and having him blossom into a first-team All-Pro. And then Goody deserves a bunch of criticism for signing him to a 5-year, $50 million contract that he played 2 years of, didn't play well, and left a pretty good cap hit on his way out the door.
Jason Wilde with us this morning on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, ESPN Milwaukee. Alex Strofe, Josh DiMaggio in for Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. I struggled with this one because it's just, obviously it's wacky, it's different, it's weird, it's something unlike anything you've really ever seen before. I think Vontae Davis and Antonio Brown are the names that come to mind of similar exits mid-game. But for this one, Jason, my head actually went to Zadarius Smith. With the captain chain and the way he left Green Bay disgruntled. When you think about DeAndre Campbell and Zadarius Smith, which exit do you think was nastier? It had to be Smith, I would guess, right?
Yeah, Smith was obviously a player who was pretty darn good his first 2 years on that free agent contract, and then he didn't get a new deal going into whatever that was, the 2021 season, right?
I think that's right.
And he was again. I hate the idea of saying he was faking an injury or whatever it might be, but there was definitely some confusion as to what exactly was wrong with him. You could sense the frustration in the building. He played one game in the regular season and played one game in the playoffs. I know for a fact there were teammates who were really angry with him and felt like he was malingering. So again, I don't understand when you get to the highest levels, and it's not like he wasn't getting paid. Like, I understand he wanted more guaranteed money moving forward. Doesn't everybody? But he was still getting paid. He still had a very healthy salary, and he's just. I don't know. The other guy that I would put on that list is Martellus Bennett, right? Who mysteriously, I would have never thought that a collarbone injury would be contagious, but in that 17 season when Rodgers broke his collarbone, suddenly Bennett had a shoulder injury that miraculously then healed when he returned to the Patriots. I just, there are certain guys that, and I kind of wish Chewy was on the show today, not because I don't enjoy your company, but because I'd love to know what teammates would say or do, or if they would confront a guy like this, or how they would handle it. Because Rodgers in 17 was especially disappointed because he was all